today. You ready? Here we are. Well,
We
hello, hello. We are live. We are among the living. We are here. Hello, first class fish, Christy, Glitch, and the other five people who are here. Nice, nice to see you.
Yeah, drop us a line, say hi in the chat.
Really do, by all means. This is, I do have a bit of feedback, but it's not a it's not even understandable.
yeah,
Just
I see the
it's not an
feedback. I'm
issue
gonna.
though. Don't fret with it. It ain't worth fooling with. Um, let's see. This is the second in a series, and the series will go on until it no longer is going on. But we're anticipating a long series, a couple of years maybe, um, because what we're doing is researching the natural aquarium in 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 minutia, in detail, looking at areas first. And the very first one we're looking at is leaves. What is the impact of leaves? Which leaves have what kind of impact? And what can we recommend in your tank for leaves based on whatever it is you're trying to do? The next unit will be the substrate. We'll be looking at all of the material that I've been putting in the the mix the, that goes in with the dirt to determine its efficacy and importance and relevance to anything. And we may determine that it has no relevance at all. I don't know yet. There's some interesting things that are already coming to the fore. So this project is something we are just beginning to figure out how to share. There's a group of people, about 10 people, who are working diligently with each other, doing research, sharing ideas over on Discord, much of which is available to sponsor. If you would like to sponsor this project, simply go to Patreon and make make a pledge, whatever kind of pledge you want. It's not fee paid; it's based on ability to be supportive, and then let me know or let someone on Discord know you follow the link over there. Let us know you've done that. We will give you access to as much of the research as we possibly can.
And even if you can't support us financially, the next best thing you can do is to click that like button. And if you haven't done so already, click the subscribe button, and please do share this video.
You betcha. One other thing that's important, YouTube has been doing what's been referred to as shadow banning. What that really means is that for smaller channels, and the Fatherfish is a small channel relative to big channels, the algorithm does not promote to even a substantial portion of the people who are subscribed to the channel. It's really a small portion of the people subscribed to the channel who get notification that we're doing this, for example, or that a video is up. What you can do about that to help us is, as you are in other live streams or watching videos of other fish tube fish tubers, make a comment and mention Father Fish. That's all you need to do. And that will give us more traffic because people will see that, they'll click on it, You don't need to put the link in. Just mention Father Fish in some meaningful context, and those who are interested will follow through. Many people discover us through other channels, chat rooms, on other live streams, where someone has mentioned Father Fish. So be sure to do that. That's probably the best way we have of being able to reach out. You've all met Laura before and Luke. Tommy Denda is not showing his face today, or his voice, actually. He's going to
But
be
he's here.
texting with us. He's here and among us. Tommy is an absolute delight. There he is, right. Uh,
He says
Laura
LOL.
and Tommy have put together this project, and thus far they have attracted the interest of another half dozen or more scientists or researchers or artists or other creative people to participate in this project, and it's coming along. So let me let Laura take over here because she has an agenda based on what she's been doing this week. Laura.
Alrighty. So, hello everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, as applicable, and best of the holiday season to everyone. Yeah, it's been a busy and eventful couple of weeks. Largely, we've been doing a lot of administrative stuff in the past couple of weeks. So I'm sure if you joined us for our last meeting, you know some of that was administrative in nature, just talking about organization and structuring things. And I think, though, we're going to, in January, be making a big push forward, particularly with the Leaves Guide project, which is Tommy's baby. Um, and he'll be talking about that hopefully next time we meet. But this week, I had something of an epiphany. And my epiphany was that it might be a good idea, since Father Fish has been active in doing live streams of natural aquaria, if maybe we could collaborate with a person or some people and have something similar to that, but with a large live streamed natural aquarium following the Father Fish method, um, which would also help us implement some techniques and test some theories that we're coming up with in the Natural Aquarium Research Working Group. So that group that Father Fish has mentioned, that talented group of different scientists and researchers and artists. And so what we would do is we would hopefully be live streaming this 24/7, and then providing it would provide us with some video clips for, say, some YouTube shorts and some regular YouTube videos where we could talk about certain aspects of setting up a natural aquarium using the Father Fish method. So for example, we could talk about setting up the substrate. We could talk about adding the leaves and what you can expect to see. And not only talk about that, but see it in real time. And we can watch the aquarium mature. You know, a lot of times when you first start an aquarium, it's kind of a scary process because as the aquarium is just starting out and you're trying to get all those wonderful cycles started, you know, unexpected things can happen. And this might give us an opportunity also to talk about troubleshooting some things as they occur.
Let me stop you a minute, Laura,
Mhm.
because this is a good point for Luke to describe
Yes.
the technical aspects of what's involved in actually being able to do this.
So, unfortunately, I didn't hear much of that because I was working on getting your Patreon links and stuff,
Thank you.
and my brain was completely occupied.
Laura's talking
Understandable.
about people being able to share their aquarium. I thought
Oh
it
yeah,
would
Yes.
be helpful if you could explain a little bit of the technical aspects of what's involved in doing
Hmm.
that.
yeah. So we're trying to come up with the easiest way to do that and the most cost effective way to do that. There's a lot of different ways for us to do it. I think what we're going to do is find a low cost used Android phone that we know is high enough quality resolution wise, holds a charge, because that's been our biggest issue with Android phones, or stays on long enough and doesn't overheat. So our goal is to find something in the $50 range. And for the people that participate, as far as their live streams go or their aquariums, we'll probably just send them a phone to use and the whole setup. Um, it's only going to be a few probably anyways, and it'll be cool that way no one has to come out of pocket to do that. But that's why it's good to support us with memberships or Patreon, the YouTube memberships, just because it does take a little bit of effort and money to do this stuff, and a whole lot of time. So
Definitely.
So if you want to participate, you can drop a link here in a YouTube video. I read all comments, or come over to Discord and engage in a conversation with us. That's really where the action is. Luke is there, I'm there, Laura's there,
Yep.
Tommy's there. There are a bunch
Every
of us
day.
there all the time, every day. It's a very active, dynamic community that is welcome to new folks to plug in and become a part of. And then Luke will guide you through the steps of actually getting set up.
and that's Kenny, right? ABC. Yeah, he
Yeah,
said he'd be willing to do something with his 180 or something.
yeah, he's got a
He'd
new
be
tank that he's,
another,
yeah,
yeah, he'd be another good one, and he's already got a lot of experience. So
right,
yeah,
right.
Kenny, that'd be cool if you want to participate. We're looking to have at least 3 that are related to this research group, so they can test different methods and different
Yeah.
things. So
Ideally, also, if it's possible, if we could kind of start build an aquarium kind of from the ground up, that would be great. Um, so that we can really showcase the father fish method in particular.
yeah,
One of the things that would be helpful is if someone has a tank, a well established tank that is not a father fish tank, we can work with you to bring about the conversion. And that would be very interesting, I think, for everyone as well. How do you take an existing tank without tearing it down and starting over? How do you build on that to be able to make it a natural aquarium? And we can do that with virtually any tank. If you have a tank that's been set up for a year or more, that you want to be able to convert into a living aquarium, we can do that. It's not a complicated process. It is one that would be very worthwhile to document. So don't feel left out in this project if you've got something that you'd like to work with, because that would be ideal as well.
By the way, also for anyone out there who's kind of new to aquarium keeping, prior to a little over, I think about a month ago, I hadn't had a fish tank since I was a child. And the tank that you're seeing in the pictures in this presentation, that's my current tank. I set it up literally a few weeks ago, and it's been going strong. The parameters are stable. And as you can see, all the inhabitants in the tank are pretty healthy, pretty happy. So yeah, even if this is an easy method, even if you are new to the hobby. It's an easy method to follow, and you can get some very, very good results.
yeah, that's one of the benefits. Everyone thinks, oh, well, that sounds like a lot of work, and the whole purpose of this is for it to not be a lot of work. Create a natural aquarium,
Yes.
let nature do its thing, but you have to put all the pieces in there for it to do that. So
And I think once we get this hopefully get this live stream project underway, it's going to give us a lot of opportunities for engagement. So a lot of opportunities for us to engage with you and for you to engage with us. So for example, we could ask general members of the community, so anyone watching the live stream on YouTube, for example, to make some observations, share the observations of the live stream tank with us, and we can talk about those with everyone. We could talk about the progress that the tank is making in our weekly meetings. We could even take clips from the streams and maybe edit them into, like, for example, maybe some relaxation videos, for example, to target a wider
Right.
audience.
Right.
Nope, you're saying?
No, I said right.
Oh,
That's
I
correct.
was like,
No, it's a
oh no.
really good idea.
Yeah, because I mean that is something. There's a lot of people out there who maybe even if they aren't interested in having an aquarium themselves, they do like to watch fish and like to see a nice tank setup. So it's an opportunity as well to engage with that even wider audience. And we can also, if the interviewer, if the tank owner is interested, we could even maybe have them join us for some meetings or some interviews and share their thoughts with us. And of course, also, if you aren't comfortable with that, we're perfectly happy. We can just talk with you privately, and like Tommy and I are happy to do voiceovers. I think I'm volunteering you, Tommy, um, on some videos, say, of the clips and stuff from the live streams. Um, and let's see, we can also use the stream to kind of creatively engage with our Patreon donor base, for example. I was thinking maybe we could sort of set up kind of levels within within Patreon, so that it's almost like people are kind of sponsoring a fish, sort of like what you see aquariums and zoos doing with their sponsor slash adopt an animal. Um, we could have, like, say, the tetra level and the danio level, for example, if there's tetras and danios in the tank. And so that could be kind of a fun way for people to engage with us on Patreon as well. And one thing that we, as previously mentioned, as well, that we're interested in is possibly having multiple tanks, if we can, if there's enough people interested in sharing their tank with us. I think it would be really nice to be able to see several tanks in this live stream.
Yeah, and one of the things in relation to the Patreon, I hate to make it seem like a money grab. It's not that we expect to have thousands of people paying, but if people can participate in the few dollar level,
Mhm.
what we're thinking is get possibly you would sponsor a tank. So if we have 3 or 4 different setups, you could sponsor that, and through the rotation, we could list the donors or the sponsors as sponsors of that aquarium too, um, if people were interested. And then I think what we'll probably end up doing is, if we get 3 or 4 of these set up, we'll include them in the live stream rotation, but we will also probably give them their own dedicated 24/7 stream on the Father Fish channel. So if there's one aquarium in particular that you either have sponsored or that you like, and you want to keep it on as a background thing on your TV or whatever you want to do, you can just have that up online. So I think that's what we'll probably end up doing, something along those lines.
Yes, I'm sure, as probably just about everyone who's watching this is aware, watching an aquarium can be a very relaxing and rewarding pursuit. It's really fun to watch the different aquarium inhabitants interact with the environment. It's just, all in all, it's just a lot of fun. I know that I frequently spend time sitting in front of my own aquarium, even. I'll even, like, turn off the TV so I can go watch what my shrimp are doing, for example.
I
Um,
know.
but at
Much
any rate,
much more relaxing than about anything else we do.
oh
So
yeah, for sure. At any rate, this is the conclusion of the presentation that I had planned. So thank you very much for your attention. And again, best of the season to you and your family, and to your friends as well.
Thank you,
Can,
Laura.
can
We
you talk?
do have a 24/7 live stream that is running currently. I think it's offline right now.
What's that?
It was offline this morning. It dropped off
The cameras or
the stream.
I'll double check it. Um, so also at the same time, Jackson Simpson says, I have a 55-gallon deep substrate, but I use bottom to top eco-planted gravel, Brightwell Rio Escura. I don't know what that is.
Yeah,
1 inch sand cap, and would that be considered the father fish method?
it's really close. I think another inch of sand it would provide. What that does is the sand cap. One of the functions is to prevent nutrients from emerging from the substrate into the water column. It creates enough of a barrier at 2 inches so that the nutrient level, the dirt, if you will, stays down in the substrate and does not come into the water column. Now, one of the principles, there are two basic principles that separate the father fish system from the Wallstead method. The one is we add nutrients and minerals to the substrate in order to provide some longevity, enough that the system will sustain itself for 2 to 5 years. Number two, to build a substrate that is compact enough to prevent water from flowing through it and washing nutrients back into the water column. That's the function of sand and the function of 2 inches of sand. So those two considerations are really key to the father fish system. So I would say, Jackson, you're on the right track, but you ain't there yet. um, Part of the difficulty is adding adding supplements to a system that's already established. There are some ways to do it, but the reality is if you get that sand cap another inch and just let it run, in a year or so, the nutrient level is going to build up in it such that it will begin to operate as a natural processing system and will be able to create that cycle of life that is so important to what we're trying to do. Let's see, Glenwood brunch and late. Oh, nice to have you here, Brett. Glenn.
I,
Glenn.
I I've also updated that, so the live stream is back up. We've had a
Oh,
lot of
good.
issues with our 24/7 streams pushing them to YouTube lately. In the past, it started happening the day after Thanksgiving, so it's outside of my control apparently. We just try to keep an eye on it and make sure they're going.
Yeah, so the live stream is active. You can click on it and it'll
Mm-hmm.
be there. Right now, we've got about 5 or 6 um, tanks from, the Netherlands and Canada and the US. I think there might be an Australian tank. But it's open to anyone really who wants to participate. Uh, get in touch with us on Discord. The link will be below and we can post it here.
I'll post
And
the link to
just
Discord.
chat with us about getting online. We'll help you do that. You can have your tank broadcast to the world. Well, thank you, Luke and Laura and Tommy, for being here. Nice to be with you this Sunday. We're not going to be here on Christmas Day. We will be back on New Year's Day, however, and we'll be a little further down the road on this. So we're likely to have more information and more things happening by then. Join us on Discord, please.
Yep,
You'll
links
find
in the
it's a
in the chat.
wonderful experience. It's an opportunity to delve into a myriad of of topics. There are, I don't even know how many, 30 or 40 topics
Yeah,
in
Tommy's
the
been adding a
index.
lot of them.
Yeah, we
He
even
keeps
have we have one for people who are interested in mushrooms, another
Mhm.
for people who are interested in horses. I
Yep,
mean,
like
it's,
me.
yeah, it's just taken on a life of its own. It's become a real community and lots of opportunity to talk about fish in detail as well as natural aquarium. Tommy
Yeah,
is
he says,
Tommy is
"No, are we
complaining
already
we're
done?"
done. To you, Tommy. Keep on.
He said he's running out of things to add. So real quick before we go, Laura, where did you get most of the things in your aquarium? I'm assuming that's the your aquarium in that final picture there.
Yes. So, yeah, let me pull that. Let me have a look. So I got literally all of the rocks and all of the branches from my local stream. The sand is just pool filter sand. I actually, of course, you can't see it in this picture, but I actually, when I mixed up the substrate layer, the mud layer, which is underneath that sand cap, I actually used some substrate from the local river, the Ammer River in my area. I'm in Southwest Germany, and and yeah, so a lot of that came from my local river. The plants, of course, most of those I did order from a supplier here in Germany, but I also got some from other hobbyists locally. We have in Germany we have eBay Kleinanzeigen, which is like our version of Craigslist kind of, and so I was able to get a bunch of stuff like the floating plants and a few of the stem plants from other local hobbyists. The shrimp have all come from local hobbyists, and also my snails and my fish, which are Heterandria formosa, which are a species of itty bitty little live bearer fish, which come from North America, the US, oddly enough. Um, and they're actually one of the world's smallest live bearers. Which is
Hmm.
pretty fascinating. So they're similar. They're similar to a guppy, but I have been having a blast just watching them um, as they explore the aquarium and interact with the shrimp, and come out when they think that I might be giving them food. Actually, it's
Yeah,
funny. They'll sometimes come out even seemingly not because of the food. If they see my face, they'll kind of come over for a moment to kind of stare at me and then wiggle their way back into the foliage. It's
isn't that
really pretty
awesome?
funny.
Yeah, yeah, it's cool, and it's funny because you think like, oh well, they're just hungry, but they have a different behavior when they think you're gonna feed them, and when they're
Yes.
just checking you out and saying
Mhm.
hi, basically. So it's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
for sure. But yeah, going back just for a moment to collecting stuff from, the local rivers and stuff. Um, aquarium keeping doesn't have to be a really expensive proposition. I know that generally keeps that's something that I hear a lot of people citing as a reason why they're a little bit leery about starting their own aquarium. You could literally go out into a river and get most of the stuff for your aquarium. You can get a lot of things like the aquarium itself, even from other hobbyists in your area. If you want to, you can buy it secondhand. It doesn't have to be a really expensive setup for you to get a lot of enjoyment out of it and for it to be a successful setup.
Yeah, and that's so. Some of you might have seen the streams, but Kenny, which is ABC Aquatic, um, that's what he does. He goes out and goes to a specific area and sets up an aquarium based off of that. Plants, substrate to some extent, and the fish and stuff that he put in the tank are very specific to that biotope, a river or a lake or something that he visited. So it's really, really easy to do, really cool. He's got a ton of cool tanks. I'm sure we'll see some more of them, and he'll be on semi regularly here with some cool stuff to show us, it sounds like. So
Moon boots. I suggest you add some grapes and bananas, and you might cut up an apple and mix it in with that pineapple. The pineapple's really not going to provide sufficient diversity. You need more fruit in order to have greater diversity in your your fruit salad tank there.
uh,
But pineapple is always a good first step. It's one of the, I think one of the only, if not the only, bromeliad that you can find at your local grocery store to eat. So
pineapples are good.
And yes, Tommy, you are required to put leaves in the tank.
I wondered if anybody caught that.
Like it or not.
Oh shoot.
Mary, hello. Nice to see you. Delighted to have you here.
So what's the plan here as far as the next time? What are we looking at, after Christmas, or what's
yeah,
the
New Year's Day, we're
New
thinking.
Year's Day? Oh, that's
Yeah.
rough.
Yeah,
Could be.
don't party too hard on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
If I could
Yeah.
get myself in gear, we may do some more before that.
Mhm.
I've just been running dry for about a month here, but I've been excited about this project because I really feel as though it is going to define the direction of the channel for a long time to come. And it's something that it's really profoundly significant. For the last 2 years, I've been shooting from the hip, just gone off the seat of my pants based on what I think and what I feel and what my experience tells me. And now we've got a group of people who are going to hold me to task on this and find out whether what I'm saying is really valid or not. So
We're
it's a
already
little
finding out.
harrowing,
Yeah,
but I'm
and I'd like
open for it. I really am open for it. I mean, if
I'd
they
like
decide, for example, if they decide that the whole idea of adding supplements in the form of minerals to the substrate is meaningless, then that's going to work just fine for me because it advances our knowledge. And that's really what this is all about. It's it's in the knowing. It's in knowing what to do. We all learn what to do based on our experience, based on what we've learned. But rarely do we have an opportunity to be critiqued and delved into with quite the depth and perspicacity as these fine people who have come on board with the commitment to find out just what it is about the father fish system that seems to make it effective. So we're going to be learning a lot. We already are learning a lot. For example, did you know there proof is in the pudding? Well, there's more than proof in the pudding. And the real issue is what is it? What is it about the pudding that we really like? And what gets it there? And those are kind of the issues. What I was going to say is there's there is an entire kingdom of life that has been referred to in this research process that I and most everyone are wholly ignorant of. It's called Archaea, Archae.
You know, when I was in school, they were only just beginning to even mention it. So it's very new. And from a scientific perspective,
It's been
that's
less
very new.
than 50 years that anything at all has been known about this. And the reality is, there's virtually nothing known about it yet, except that what the researchers are now believing is that the whole process of nitrification occurs not by virtue of bacteria affecting ammonia, but archaea, which is a bacterial like material, but it is not bacteria. So little is known about it that we're really shooting in the dark. So it's just part of what I mean when I say we're learning so much that is creating far more questions and far more need to investigate than has really ever been the case.
Well,
Garlic pudding, Moonboot one. Garlic pudding. If you'll
well,
mix some pineapple in that, it'll be
Yeah.
particularly desirable. We
I'd like
miss Moon Boots. Moon Boots was active with us on Discord until he had to be thrown out for being just too irascible.
uh, I'd
But
like
he
to
was a joy, and I loved having him. It was him or everybody else.
that's
And for
too
a while, I
funny.
thought he and I could just enjoy holding forth, but I got voted down.
I'd
I'm
like
trying
to
to sneak
see
it back in the door, Moon Boots.
a
I'm not
horrible
quite sure I
discharge.
can do it yet, but we might give it a try.
I'd like to see some informal meetings between the research group of just discussing the things that they've been working on amongst themselves, where we get kind of an inside peek at those conversations, and it's just a little bit of a learning thing instead of a formal presentation. Because I see the conversations that happen in the Discord, and they're pretty informal, um, but there's a lot of good information there that would be good for other people to get along the way. I think people would enjoy, hearing some of that.
I
So
think you're right. There is a conversation that's a text chat conversation that goes on daily. Um, we probably we probably could do something with that. I'm not quite sure what. It would not be audio or video, really. It would simply be text.
right,
I like the idea, and you're absolutely right. Being able to get this gang together and talk with them is remarkable.
right. Yeah, there's a lot of good conversations that happen outside of the streams and outside of videos. So I like the formal updates, but it would be good to periodically just have kind of a almost like the forum where we get
Yeah.
together and just discuss some of the things like you were just talking about in a little bit greater detail, and go off on some tangents. I'm sure people would appreciate that.
Yeah, I think that would be very doable. Maybe we can kind of set up like a few small group or one-to-ones with people.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Sounds like a plan to me. So
Interesting idea. Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
like to do that. I agree with you absolutely.
Yeah, maybe where we just pick a topic that we've been finding a lot about
discussing, right?
lately and just have a little chit chat.
Yep.
Grab some coffee or a beverage of choice and talk
Hmm.
about it. Talk about something we found that's exciting to us, even if
Right.
it's not always, 100% relevant. Sometimes we find out some really kind of fun little tidbits here and there.
Right. and those conversations can go on for a little while, so it'd be fun
Yes.
to have those, where other people can participate. So you might learn something, they might learn something, and they might have something to add. So soon, I want to get the live streams a little bit
Yeah.
more regular. Get
Yeah.
everybody back in the habit. I know that everybody was bummed out because YouTube sucks.
Well, I
Hopefully
think
they didn't hear that.
after the holidays we can really start to
Yeah.
kind of
Oh
pick
yeah.
things up a little bit. I think really up until New Year's it's going to be a little quiet.
Right. Yep. I agree.
But yeah, starting in January we will be doing much more with the writing project as well. So it should start to get really a lot more lively and a lot more fast paced.
Yeah. Okay.
So we've got the multimedia kind of approach here. We'll be doing videos, live streams. We'll also be doing written text um, in essentially book format with lots of illustrations. We've got some really talented artists on board who are already cranking out stuff that is extremely high quality. Uh, the first the first portion of this, as we mentioned, is the leaves of trees. What is it about tree leaves that are so vital to our aquarium? We're digging into that even now. A lot of it going to be available. The detail of it will be available in text, will be available in book format. That's going to be on Discord. On a Patreon behind a paywall. So you'll need to join um, Patreon in order to have access to that material. But I guarantee you, it's material not going to exist anywhere else that will provide enormous detail to how these systems actually work and what it is about them that makes them so unique and so remarkable.
Cool stuff. So, what time and day are we going to be back here? New Year's Day.
New Year's
Yes.
Day, 1 o'clock.
Alrighty. So make sure you're able to get up
Yep, same
from the
time.
day before.
And remember to like and subscribe if you haven't done so
That's
already,
true.
and to please share this video with your friends. And as Father Fish said, please mention us in a meaningful way in comments as well.
Yeah,
By all
and
means. Yeah,
if you want to
absolutely.
become a subscriber, most of you are probably already subscribers, but you can also join the memberships are, I think, a couple dollars to $5, somewhere in there. You get an icon next to your name. There's different levels, and it just helps support the stream and keep it going. So if you got anything good out of the streams, it's worth a few bucks. And I'm sure that you've gotten enough information to justify that. So see you
Bless
guys,
you all. Wonderful Christmas.
2023.
Yep.
We'll see you
See you
the
next year.
first day of the new
Yeah.
year. Bye for now.